Before it's program 2199 of the morning show with Preston Scott right here on 100.7 FM WFLA. Dennis J. is the executive director of the Coalition Against Insurance Fraud, and he joins us this morning on the morning show. Hi, Dennis.
Good morning, Preston. Great to be on your show.
Dennis, I'm forlorn, my friend. I knew all about the property insurance issues that we're facing here in the state. I even learned about the fraud that was going on with sinkhole claims. But now you're telling me that we have even more fraud than that going on. What else is happening to us?
Well, for several years, crooked clinics have been cropping up all over the states, and it's really taking Florida drivers for a ride with a higher auto insurance premiums, and it's encouraging people to stage crashes. We don't call them accidents because accidents aren't on purpose, but it started down in South Florida. Miami had a problem for many, many years. Everybody kind of knew it. It's so lucrative. They branched out into Tampa and Hillsborough County, and then started seeing it a little bit in Orlando, Jacksonville, and guess where they're going to come next?
I'm curious, though, is this like an organized crime kind of thing, or is it individuals? Is it a combination?
It's all of the above. It's some very organized criminal enterprises that are driving this. It's some loosely knit gangs. Individuals can get involved as well, either filing false claims or being paid $500 just to sit in a car while it has a little fender bender, and then the clinic can basically, under the state insurance law, bill for up to $10,000, no questions asked.
So what is your coalition attempting to do? Are you part of the effort to craft legislation? Are you just advising? Do you have steps that you've seen taken in other states that are showing signs of working?
We're working with a group down here called the Sunshine Alliance to Erase Fraud. They've come up with a couple of real good bills. One of them in the House was passed by a committee last week. Another one in the Senate is going to be heard by the Banking and Insurance Committee on Tuesday. And basically, what it would do, it would increase penalties for cheaters. I mean, we got to make this more than the cost of doing business. These people are getting very rich off of people who pay insurance premiums. And one of the things it would do, it would unshackle the insurance investigators to be able to investigate these frauds. Right now, it's really a shame. Insurance companies basically have to pay these claims within 30 days, and they're not even allowed to interview witnesses. Florida's the only state in the country where there's a prohibition against this. So basically, a clinic doesn't even have to make their patients available to be interviewed. They can just say, be quiet, wait 30 days, and automatically it gets paid. That's just ridiculous. And we got to unshackle insurance investigators to be able to do their jobs.
Dennis J. is with us. He's executive director of the Coalition Against Insurance Fraud. Go ahead, Dennis. I'm sorry.
The other thing it would do, right now, insurance companies are required to pay these claims within 30 days. And what we're saying is, hey, if there's a legitimate suspicion that a claim is fraudulent, let's give them a little bit more time, up to 90 days more, to investigate that claim so they can root it out. They can send it over to the Division of Insurance Fraud, and these people can get what's coming to them. And then also, there's a real simple thing we think that would really have an impact, and that would be when police show up to an accident scene, they would have to just write down the names of everybody in the car. Because what we see is there may be a car accident with 2 people in there, and then all of a sudden the claim gets to the insurance company, and there's 6 people listed on the car accident claim, and $10,000 a piece going to the clinic. That's a pretty lucrative deal.
So just to kind of help us clarify further specifically what's happening, it's just as simple as we believe that there's an epidemic of people that are intentionally getting in accidents.
If you look at the data, and everything from the average cost of the low-impact auto crashes all the way to the number of suspicious claims that insurance companies are reporting to authorities, they're off the charts, and that's where Florida is number one. There's absolutely no question in our mind. I mean, we look at data from all the states, and Florida just sticks out like a sore thumb in this area right now.
Okay, because you use the phrase, from an insurance standpoint, legitimate suspicion? I mean, how do you define that?
There's some red flags that over time have been developed, that have been validated. And again, it doesn't say that this is absolutely fraudulent, but enough that you get 2 or 3 of these red flags. And again, you get patterns of suspicions coming from the same clinics over and over. You know, I think it was the CFO's Division of Insurance Fraud last week that said that there are 3,000 clinics in the state right now operating for the sole purpose of just pushing through, you know, mass production of these fraudulent claims. They're not in business to do health care. In fact, I think the quote he used was he wouldn't take his dog to these clinics.
Well, give me a couple examples of what those red flags would be.
The red flags would be claims coming in that are just not commensurate with low impact accidents. You know, you get in an accident and there's, you know, $200 or $300 damage on the car, and then there's, you know, treatments for 6-8 weeks for back pain or neck pain or things like that. You know, there was just a good one a couple weeks ago in Tampa where this couple who was busted for staging an accident 3 years ago, you know, all of a sudden started filing all these claims again, and you know, they went back and found that they were fraudulent, and they got busted again. I mean, that's an obvious red flag. But every claim coming through, there's 5 or 6 people in a car. No witnesses to the accident. No police report. You know, it happens at night in a parking lot someplace. There's probably 15 to 20 of these red flags that they take a look at. And again, insurers know that, you know, a lot of this is suspicious, but they're paying it anyway. And
can I ask you to expand on why that is? Because I have firsthand experience on this. I was sharing my story before you came on the air about the fact that, you know, about 8 or 9 years ago, my son got literally set up by a guy who, it turns out, had done it 2 or 3 times before and was scheduled to have a shoulder surgery, but then charged off the shoulder surgery to the insurance company. We end up getting dropped because of the size of the claim, but if the insurance company had done just a bit of investigation, they would have learned what I learned and would have had suspicion to not pay.
You need more than just suspicion to not pay under the law. You need to be able to deny the claim and defend that claim in court because they're going to sue you for bad faith or whatever. If an insurance company did not investigate the claim, shame on them because they should have, and it should have been reported to the authorities. But still, they still may have had to pay it because under law, unless they can prove it's fraud within 30 days, they're liable to be sued or to be fined by the state.
I imagine just one of the drawbacks that you're having to fight through, and I would hope that some legislators are raising concerns about this, because I'm hoping that you don't want to penalize people that have been in legitimate accidents and want to go ahead and get their claims filed as quickly as possible. I mean, is there any possible detrimental effect from this legislation on just honest people that have been in an accident and need to get paid?
Actually, there's consumer protections that were written in the bill. The Sunshine Alliance to Erase Fraud is a broad-based coalition of statewide consumer groups, government agencies, and private insurers. One of the things that we put in there as far as extending the time to give insurers to pay the claims, because we don't want insurers just to say, oh, now we got 120 days, so we're just going to delay all claims. There's a provision in there that says if the insurer is found to routinely be delaying legitimate claims, they're open to bad faith. That's a bad faith action, and they should be spanked for doing that. There's another provision in there that would allow, if an insurer wanted to set up its own medical network and offer that to its policyholders, it can do so, but it also allows the insurer to provide a discount to the policyholders for using their network as opposed to just going out and dealing with some of these crooked clinics.
Dennis, last question, real quick answer I need from you. We're running short on time. We had State Senator Alan Hayes on the program a few days ago, talked about sinkhole claims that are fraudulent claims, but just mentioned that, that they're trying to just shorten the amount of time someone has to file a claim. Now it's 5 years. Have you ever seen a state that has just so many weird kind of time frames that people file under?
Well, you also have some weird things going on in the state. Again, with the lime in the soil and all of that, most states don't have sinkholes, so it's a little bit unusual to begin with. Let me just finish. There's a lot of unusual things in Florida, but we could start on Tuesday with the Senate Banking Committee, and it's Senate Bill 1390, sponsored by Senator Bogdanoff, doing something about trying to keep auto rates in check in the state.
Good stuff. Dennis, thanks for the time this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, have a good day. Dennis J., Executive Director, Coalition Against Insurance Fraud, right here on The Morning Show.